Check, test. What's that? Got my own agenda from now on. It's in my car. That's fine. Reading just so paper. I printed it in my car, but.
Go to student conduct, student attendance.
Second reading and the vote in January.
Okay, so we don't vote.
No vote on it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. First reading.
It hadn't been a problem until this year. It wasn't a problem. It's just like,
We're live.
yeah, that's what already got here. Yeah, we were waiting till they come back.
Good evening. Welcome to the Poquoson City School Board meeting, December 14th, 2021. I'd like to call this meeting to order with the pledge to the flag by Maddie Haddock, followed by an inspirational reading.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So the poem I chose today is from F. Scott Fitzgerald. For what it's worth, it's never too late, or in my case too early, to be whoever you want to be. There's no time limit, start whenever you want. You can change or stay the same, there are no rules to this thing. We can make the best or the worst of it. I hope you make the best of it. I hope you see things that startle you. I hope you feel things you've never felt before. I hope you meet people who have a different point of view. I hope you live a life you're proud of, and if not, I hope you have the courage to start over again. Thank you.
Thank you, Maddie. That was wonderful. All right, the student presentation that we've been looking forward to by select members of the Poquoson High School Chorus.
Sleigh bells ring, I listen, in the lane, stars glisten. A beautiful sight, we're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland. Gone away is the bluebird, here to stay is the new bird. Sings a love song as we roll along, walking in a winter wonderland. In the meadow we can build a snowman, then pretend that he is Parson Brown. walking in a winter wonderland. Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. It's such a beautiful sight. We're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland. Gone away is the bluebird, here to stay is our new bird. He's gonna sing a love song as we roll along, walking in a winter wonderland. In the meadow we can build a snowman, and pretend that he is Parson Brown. He'll say, are you married? We'll say, no man, but you can do the job when you're in town. Later on we'll conspire as we dream by the fire to face unafraid the plans that we made, walking in a winter wonderland. We're walking, yeah, we're talking. We're walking in a winter wonderland. Winter wonderland.
Thank you so much. That was select members of the Poquoson High School Chorus, and we've been looking forward to that. Are there any additions or modifications to our agenda this evening?
No, ma'am.
All right, then we're going to go on to recognitions. After our recognitions, we would like to break to meet with you, but right now we're going to recognize the Poquoson High School Senior of the Month. All right, December Student of the Month is a determined young woman who does not shy away from hard work. She has challenged herself with numerous honors level courses over the years, is active in the FCA, the Student to Student, the Key Club, DECA, and serves as a senior class vice president. She is the captain of both the softball and women's basketball team, where she's always tried to set a positive example for her teammates. She credits her level of discipline to her Aikido martial arts practice, in which she has earned a black belt. Outside of school, this student has volunteered her time at numerous community events and has worked bussing tables at a local diner. She has verbally committed to playing softball as a member of the George Mason's Patriots women's softball team. Woo-hoo! Please join me in congratulating our December Student of the Month, Ms. Logan Pickford. Right. We have next, the varsity field hockey has taken second place in the state championship.
Madam Chair, just wanted to let everyone know that we would have had these amazing athletes here tonight to celebrate them in person, but as with great athletes, they're still playing ball. So they are playing tonight. Many of them were unavailable to be here tonight, so we'll bring them back before our board later in the year to celebrate them in person. But great round of applause for these amazing young ladies. They're incredible.
Right. All right, we're going to take that break now so we can meet with you.
only my 13.5 that I have to go for to take one. Ready or?
Wait, there we go. All right, we're back. Excellent. Now we're going into presentations and reports, beginning with WHRO, Mr. Bert Smith, President, and Elmer Stewart, Vice President of Education.
Members of the board, Mr. Tilla, thank you for allowing me to speak with you tonight. My name is Bert Schmidt. I'm the President and CEO of WHRO. Oh, better get this. Practice on this. If you could just hit present. All right, sorry about that. Yes, and Elmer Stewart is with me. He's my VP of Education and a 20-year veteran of Poquoson Public Schools working here in the division. So I know he's happy to be back here, and nice short commute for him today. I come to you today because, here we go, let's get this. First, we've given you the impact statement for the 2020-21 school year. I'll let you read that. I'm just going to do a quicker summary of what's in that packet, though, for you. Now, I come to you because you're one of 21 school divisions that literally own the license to WHRO. We're the only media company, commercial or non-commercial, owned by collaboration of schools. We were founded in 1961 by Hampton and Norfolk. We grew over time. We were created as Homeroom 1 back in the day to do distance learning, put a teacher in front of a camera, teach multiple classrooms at the same time. Sound familiar? And now we're 21 school divisions that literally own the license, WHRO. So the services we've been providing you during the last school year. eMedia VA is a contract we have had with the Department of Education for 8 or 9 years now. This is a digital repository of learning objects. It could be video, audio, games, anything you can digitize, pictures. It's all correlated to the Virginia Standards of Learning, and it's free to all of your teachers, students, parents. We have a contract with the Department of Education to make that available. Last year, the division had over 19,000 page views, so as you can see, it's extensively used throughout the division. We provide lots of professional development for your teachers. You can see the list of courses during the first year of the pandemic. You can see distance learning, blended learning, social emotional learning. The list is there. Of course, last year it was all done via Zoom. Hopefully we can get back to in-person training pretty soon. You may know well that we have developed for you, you can see here a list of 28, mostly high school, a few middle school, mostly high school online courses. We make the course, we give them to you, and you use them however you want. You can see the list from algebra and trig, astronomy, chemistry, digital citizenship, the Englishes, health PEs, the physics, history courses. Again, we manufacture, give them to you, use them however you decide as a school board. They're meant to be used with teachers, but it can be blended, flipped, fully online, whatever works for your division. We're proud to say that we worked with the Department of Education and the Governor's Office to create the state's first African American history course. Last year it was in kind of a beta mode, 16 school divisions. This year, all school divisions in Virginia have the option to use this course as an elective if they see fit. And I should mention before this next slide, we are in the production of an environmental science course. That was what the superintendents asked us to create next. So we're probably about a year out before that's available to the divisions, but just know, I know a lot of divisions were looking to replace earth science with environmental science, and so we're in mid-production right now on that. So when the pandemic started back March of 2020, I got a few phone calls from the superintendents who said, look, online learning is going to be okay for middle school and high school, but it's not very good for the youngest kids, elementary school. So WHRO, can you help us out? They didn't know what to do, but can you help us? And then James Lane from the Department of Education called and said, lots of kids don't have robust online connectivity, so all this remote learning is not going to work for kids who don't have internet. So can you help? Well, we heard that, and we created Virginia TV Classroom. What we did is we worked with teachers from around the region, including a teacher here in the division, And they did, in effect, Zoom lessons from K through 7. They would send them to us, and we did our TV magic, and for 9 months we aired lessons, 15-minute lessons for 3 hours a day from K through 7 on a normal schedule, and we had schedules for parents and teachers. Here's a sampling of Virginia TV Classroom.
Attention parents and students, Virginia TV Classroom is making it easy again for you to learn in your living room. We're back for season 2. Students kindergarten to 7th grade tune in weekdays to see teacher-led and SOL-aligned instruction. It's Virginia's teachers teaching on TV. Watch Virginia TV Classroom and learn more.
Beginning September 14th at 11 on WHRO.
I should mention all of those lessons that were created during the pandemic are now available in eMedia VA, so they didn't just used for just those 9 months. Moving on, Virtual Virginia, you're probably familiar with. That's the state's virtual school program. Back 15 years ago, we were the organization that worked with the Department of Education to create Virtual Virginia. Today, we handle the tech side with a help desk and website, things like that. You can see, of course, lots of kids taking Virtual Virginia. Now, we love to celebrate smart kids. And, of course, the football and basketball players and the lacrosse players get lots of love, but we love to celebrate smart kids. So we have 3 contests we've been doing for many years now. Our PBS Kids Writers Contest for kids K through 5. They write and illustrate stories. They submit them to the station. In a normal year, our judges would pick the winners, and then we would create a TV show out of it, where the winners would come, read their stories, and we'd animate the characters from their stories, and a whole TV show with winners. Spelling Bee, this will be the 15th year upcoming. It'll be in March this year because we're pushing things back a little bit, but it's the regional Spelling Bee. Your middle school champs come to our regional bee, and then the winner of the regional bee goes on to the national. That's be the 15th year. And some of you may be young enough to actually have participated in the Great Computer Challenge. We're coming into year 37 this year. Teams K through 12 come together and they form teams, and then they compete over at ODU for a weekend on various software programs and languages, and it's been going on for upcoming on the 37 years. We've had a program for many years called American Graduate. The first number of years were focused on increasing the graduation rate. That has improved dramatically thanks to the great work that all of you do. Our focus now is more on kids who are going to graduate high school and go right into the working world. And we want to make sure that they understand the possibilities out there. And we've been especially focused on career opportunities for women in non-traditional spaces. So, you don't just have to be a nurse or a teacher. There's other opportunities for you, and here's a sampling.
Hey ladies, check out my cool t-shirt. And check out Pure and Swan.
I am strong.
You got that right.
I think on my feet.
We love a challenge.
I have mad skills.
Yeah.
I work like a girl.
Are you ready for this?
We also have all sorts of services for our youngest children. We now have 3 vans that will come out to the division. Just call us and we'll bring folks out. We have a STEM van, a literacy van, and just new environmental science van that will come out, work with your youngest kids, whether it's K through 3, daycare providers, any sort of place where young kids are. And last year, the year before the pandemic, our vans were out on the road, made 150 visits. So for young, teachers of young children are interested, just give us a call and we'll come out. Of course, there's no charge. You're an owner of WH. And we have all sorts of other services. I mentioned the vans. We've got reading and coding camps. We've got library corners, first book programs, lots of services. And we just want to make sure that you're aware of it and that you're, again, teachers of the youngest kids are aware of this program. As school board members, you care about your return on your investment. You have hard copies of the reports. When you get a chance, feel free to take a look. But on page 13, you invested last school year about $7,000. You received saving in value of $635,000. That's an ROI of $90.30 for every dollar invested. We hope you're happy with that ROI. I'm happy to take any questions.
Bert, we want to thank you for this partnership that's been in place for a lot of years. I know that Dr. Hill spoke with Dr. Seward there earlier this month about some more engagement for our kids with WHRO. So we're glad you're here and a great partner for our school division.
It's a pleasure. Thank you all.
Right, now we have the superintendent update, Mr. Art Tillett.
Okay. You like my holiday slide? A lot of this will be redundant. If you'll recall, last board meeting, we went through some data that made us all very excited because the numbers were heading in the right direction. We were in yellow at the time, and that was happening not only on the peninsula but around the state and the nation. That slide has turned a little more red again. We're starting to see those numbers. Now, a lot of this, the theme for this part of my presentation is predictability. A lot of this is somewhat predictable with this virus, as we seem to see these surges after we gather together in public settings often. And of course, over the holidays, we saw that slight surge, certainly not anything like what we saw last year at this time. So you'll notice that all the way from July, as we went through the pandemic and then saw this dip that we were excited about. And then back here in December, we're starting to see that post-Thanksgiving increase. Same thing you'll see, and this is that predictability model that we get from University of Virginia. And they start looking at what kinds of things to expect during the surge. And you'll notice that gray area on the right, we saw that the last couple of presentations, that is a possible worst-case scenario without the mitigations that are going on around the country and certainly here in Poquoson. So we don't want to see that. We want to see the slight predictable curve from the holiday gatherings that we may see. Of course, this is current transmission rate in Virginia. These are the onset of symptoms, and you'll see that also taking that dip we were happy to see and then back up. So all these next slides just show the same story of cases in Poquoson mimicking the cases around the state and the country as we saw the early November dip and then back after the holiday to our cases increasing. This is the slide you see if you get on the VDH website and type in Poquoson. You'll see this slide. I look at it every day. Many of you do as well. And you see that same dip in the yellow and back up to red. Same here. This is, of course, our local Poquoson Schools publication that's on our website. We get a lot of folks that give us feedback. They look at this daily. And you'll notice we're at 114 total division cases this year. That was 99 when we presented last month. So we are seeing, again, that slight increase over the post-holiday experience. This is, we've been tracking since the onset of the pandemic. Last year we had one actual outbreak. This year we have 5 outbreaks. We've been reporting 4 most of the year. We had our 5th one today. An outbreak is determined by the Virginia Department of Health as 2 or more in one setting. And so we have a classroom in Poquoson with 2 cases that presented today. So that's our 5th outbreak. Again, not anything to be alarmed about. Those numbers are still extremely low in comparison. You'll notice that when we reported last month, we had just a few number of quarantines, and those are in the initiation settings where they started. And then today you see those numbers having popped up a bit as well. Again, the post-Thanksgiving increase. Same here. We were very excited about the zeros we saw last month and kids learning remotely due to COVID, and those numbers have gone back up. You see one school saw a little surge the last few days. So we're hopeful those kids are all well, and we're getting ready to go into another holiday, and those kids will be able to get healthy again and back in the saddle on the 3rd of January. This is our vaccination data. We populate this often. We are seeing a slight increase over time, and of course all the science is pointing to this is our best bet to get beyond this thing. So the ages 5 to 17 is what we're most focused on, and you'll see that number up to 37%. That was 29, if I'm not mistaken, last month, somewhere around that. So that number's growing, and we're very happy about that. You'll see this, the local data. No, I was on the wrong slide. I'm sorry, that's Virginia. We are around 29%, our 5 to 17 here in Poquoson. We are continuing to offer opportunities for folks. All the local pharmacies are doing clinics daily, and thanks to Mary and Emily, who conducted or facilitated, along with the Williamsburg Pharmacy, I believe, a drive-by vaccination clinic at Poquoson High School, and we had 115 folks come get one shot or another. We did all versions of the vaccine, boosters, first shots, second shots, and we'll continue that as we move forward. There's another one planned on the 7th of January. That is a Friday, so it gives folks a Saturday and Sunday to recoup if they have any kind of reaction. So we're excited about those opportunities moving forward. As you know, we're continuing to apply for every bit of funding we can find to continue to work through this pandemic and take advantage of any opportunities to gain resources. So we'll continue to do that. We are, and every time I have the opportunity to speak in front of people, I say, if you'd love to join our team, we'd love to have you. We have substitute positions. We need bus drivers. We need people to join our team in all capacities. So please jump on our website. Let us know. Give me a call. We would love to have you be a part of Poquoson Schools. I think that's it. That's all I have. Any questions about COVID update?
We'll look at
Oh, yes.
taking the
We should
mask
talk
off.
about the elephant in the room, shouldn't we? As many of you have heard today, and I learned about midday that a neighboring school division actually changed their policy, I believe last night, related to masking and their COVID mitigation strategies. As we promised, we've been monitoring this daily and have committed to our community to look at this again the first of the year. We're very hopeful, and there's a lot of evidence pointing to the fact that the new governor may be moving in a different direction as we start the coming year. So if that's the case, that will give our board the opportunity to revisit our mitigation policy, especially as it relates to masking. I know that's something a lot of folks feel strongly about and are ready to get on the other side of that. So it looks like all indicators are pointing to perhaps our opportunity to revisit that as promised to revisit that right at the first of the year. Now we have a scheduled meeting, as you all recall, on January the 18th. If that decision is made, and again we believe it will be, in time for that meeting, but we can always call a special call meeting to revisit that earlier if that decision comes prior to our meeting on the 18th. So I think it's wise for us to watch what's happening, see what the decisions are from Richmond that are expected forthcoming in early January, and I think our board is poised to make a very quick and thoughtful decision as it relates to COVID mitigation moving forward. Is that, and any questions on that? Great. Well, appreciate it. Thank you.
Right, now we have our financial update by Ms. Tara Woodruff.
Good evening, Chair Sheeler and members of the school board. Tonight I want to review the audit reports. The FY21 audit was completed by Cherry Beckert LLP, which has been our auditors since '09. We did a few years back redo an RFP and we selected them again. The school division is included in the city's annual comprehensive financial report as a component unit. The auditors issue several reports as part of their audit. Usually I bring those for you. The city just made a couple final changes to the actual document, so they are working to get that up on their website as soon as possible, hopefully this week. But there is a report of the independent auditor which describes the scope of the audit and confirms that there were no significant audit findings. Also in the compliance section, the audit opinions are listed, and I'm pleased to report that the auditor's opinion was unmodified for the financial statements and federal rewards, which is the best opinion that can be received. The school division also had no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies identified. The auditors also spend time at the schools in the activity fund, so you do have 2 communication letters from the auditors as well as the activity fund report. The activity funds are held at the school level and they're the responsibility of the principal. For the activity funds, the auditors review the year-end financial statements and perform an appropriate level of test work to confirm that the financial statements present fairly in all material respects, the cash, receipts, disbursements, and ending balances. And that was the opinion of the auditors, so that's a very good report. The 2 communication letters that I referenced, one is the required communication really about the process. If they had any issues during the audit process, they would bring that to your attention. They did not have any. The second letter is a report of the internal control deficiencies, and you will note that there were no material weaknesses identified. On page 2 of the letter, there is a comment that we get every year about segregation of duties. They have also reassured me that almost every school division gets this, just because most school divisions have small offices between the schools and the school board office. But we do have controls in place to mitigate this, and I'm very confident in all of our processes. So overall, these are excellent audit reports, and thank you very much to the principals and the bookkeepers for always doing a great job in our schools. And if you have any questions, once you have more time to review everything, just let me know. That concludes my report.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Ms. Woodruff. And now we'll have our instructional update by Dr. Christine Hill.
Madam Chairperson, Superintendent Tillett, members of the school board, for this evening's instructional updates. This is the time of year when we are receiving notification of grants that are available through the Virginia Department of Education as well as some other organizations. So we are capitalizing on the opportunity to apply for those grant fundings and hopefully put some positions into place that will support our students and our teachers with regard to instruction. So we will be advertising for a mathematics instructional coach, and that individual will actually be working directly with teachers as opposed to working with students. And so that person will be doing things like observing in classrooms and giving feedback, attending department chair meetings, grade level meetings, to do co-planning, providing resources, working on pacing guides, curriculum, et cetera. So really working to support instruction in the classroom with regard to mathematics. We will also be advertising for a part-time behavior intervention coach, and that individual will be working with teachers and students to help support in the area of any behavioral issues that we're seeing. And we are in the process of hiring tutors to provide instructional interventions for students at Poquoson Middle School and High School. And that's also been grant funded, which is very nice. We're thankful for that. And then we've shared this with you before, but on January 28th, we have a division-wide professional development day, and that actually is set up so that it's more of a conference type of an arrangement where there is actually opportunities for staff to do some self-selecting of the sessions that they'll attend and participate in. And then, of course, this is the time of year when we start to review our program of studies. So we put information out to all teachers, and in the next week or so, we will have the committee that will be meeting to review the program of studies and to also review any recommendations from staff regarding the implementation of new courses. So we'll be able to give you an update more in January in terms of specifics and where we finally end up with that. And restorative practices. Our VTSS team actually expressed interest, and so we brought a consultant in, and he delivered about a 3-hour professional development just providing an overview on restorative practices and what that might look like for our schools in Poquoson. And so based on that experience, our division leadership team did vote to have him come back and do some training at the schools, and so we can make a decision about what we really want that to look like. So right now, Ms. Ardolino, our Director of Student Services, is working with this consultant, and he's going to put together a plan for us to review, and then moving forward, we'll be doing some more investigating into restorative practices and what that actually looks like. And at this point, that's the conclusion of our instructional updates for this month. So if you have any questions.
Any questions or comments?
Okay, well, otherwise I am always available and just a phone call or an email away. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hill. And now we will have our operations update with Dr. Ratliff.
Good evening, Mr. Tillett, Madam Chair, and board members. Tonight, I'm going to talk with you a little bit about internet safety and security for our students and give you a construction update as well. First, however, we are going to begin with the internet safety and security. Tonight, we're going to talk about a couple of different things that we utilize within Poquoson to help to ensure that we have a safe web environment for the students in our division. The first thing that we'll talk about is a program called Content Keeper. Content Keeper is basically a filter that monitors all of our web traffic within the school division, and it gives us the ability to monitor all of the web traffic in the computers, the Chromebooks, the iPads, basically any device that's on our network. We set the varying parameters for the students based upon their school level. So essentially the primary school students are going to have different parameters as the high school students may. Content Keeper works both on-site and off-site with devices that are school division issued devices. The next service that we're going to discuss is a monitoring service actually called BARC. BARC is utilized to monitors our Google workspace. It works within that area. The tool is beneficial for us in particular because the Google workspace is our students' productivity suite that they all work within. If you'll notice, if you look at your child's Chromebook when they log on, it is through a Google login. Essentially, all of the productivity things that we utilize go through that. When a student logs on to a device with Poquoson login credentials, basically BARC is then monitoring what is going on, whether it be the email, docs, slides, anything that is Google, BARC monitors. BARC's a tool that's free to K-12 schools, so it's not a tool that we pay anything for in Poquoson. Essentially, we get this for free. We do have the ability to set the sensitivity of what BARC flags. We have, I guess, varying levels of sensitivity, and when we check that all the way from low to high, and you have to keep in mind this is not a human that's actually monitoring the activity. It's basically the computer and based on the algorithms and the sensitivity that you have. One other good thing about BARC is it's COPA compliant, so it's usable with all of our students no matter the age. Essentially for students that are under 13 years of age, we're able to use BARC, and it doesn't We don't have to worry about it collecting any sensitive information on them. BART flags these categories that are listed, and it basically ranks the sensitivity when they are flagged. We can set the settings for these to trigger notifications anywhere from mild to moderate to severe. When we initially brought this in, I believe in 2019, it took us a while really to kind of get the settings tweaked as to what it was going to notify you for and what it wasn't going to notify you for. For example, we have a higher tolerance level for profanity before it would alert an administrator over things such as suicidal language, violent language, weapons, anything else of this nature. That lower tolerance level is going to alert administration much more quickly when things come out and are said within the Google Workspace. The image on this slide is an example of an alert that administrators get by BART when a potential problem is flagged. Initially, administrators get this email as a notification, and if it's deemed to be a severe worry, the administrator can actually get a phone call from BART. So if it's one that is set to the threshold that is, by how the settings we have marked, said to be that severe, where they're going to get the email and the monitoring company gives us a call in addition. BART's very user-friendly for administrators to navigate, and it really offers flexibilities for them in working within the program and how they're doing that. This image is an example of what administrators see after getting and opening a BART alert. I know you can't see very well, but the image shows the severity of the warning, the category of the warning, and the direct link to the document that was flagged. So administrators, all they have to do is click on that link, and it takes them immediately to what is flagged in the language that is flagged, whether it's in a doc, a slide, an email, kids talking to each other, whatever the case may be. The image that you see shows, I know, again, it's hard to see, but your first severe thing that's marked is sexual content, and the next two are bullying issues. So it really kind of helps give the administration a heads up of some of the things that are going on behind the scene and you may not necessarily see that are happening with students. As I stated earlier, BART's free to K-12 schools, and so we can access the monitoring service at no cost to anyone. However, we did find out within putting this together and researching that BART Junior is free for parents to utilize on personal devices as well. It's free for parents to utilize because we use it as a school division within our system. If parents utilize BART, they should know that we do not, as a school division, have the ability to see anything of their personal information or anything that they would have set up within their personal area. Only things that happen within the Poquoson login and credentials and those, how kids access the internet. Since we have found this out, we do plan to message this out to parents, as we do think that it will be a valuable tool and people may be interested in having that. Next, for the construction update. So these pictures show pictures of the application of Blueskin. The Blueskin, basically, that's currently being installed where it's needed is a contact adhesive. And what that contact adhesive does, it's installed as a waterproofing material. And you use that wherever you have an exterior, such as windows, roof edges, flashing, anywhere like that to try to prevent the water seepage. The second picture you'll see, it's where the old building is attaching to the new building. And it shows the Blueskin that has been applied to a window opening there. Now we're going to move into the Auditeria. And these will actually take you a little bit through the progress that's been made over the last month, which is pretty impressive. The pictures on the left show your HVAC installation and your tees being hung for the drop ceiling. The picture on the right, we decided to put in just so you can get an idea of the size of the trunk lines that are going in to that area so we can sufficiently heat and cool. And also that's representative of any of the big spaces that you have in the building. In the band room area, actually there are some bigger trunk lines than that even going through. Both of these pictures are also taken in the Auditeria. what you can see within these pictures is the complex design of the ceiling that's used for the sound buffering along the walls and how that's going to be made. So you do have good acoustics in there for the performances when it's being utilized as an auditorium. As you can see, we're still in the Auditeria. The first picture shows the view from the stage to the south wall, and the second picture is taken from the rear of the Auditeria facing the stage. Kind of gives you an idea of the size and scope of what you have being completed. And this we added in. This was actually taken as of this morning, and where we're at with completion in that room. The picture on the left is stage left. The picture in the middle, as close to the middle as you can get anyway, is the stage out to the audience, and the picture to the right is stage right. So in the last month, they've made quite a bit of progress within that room, and it really is coming together quickly as they get into this. So next, we're going to look at the current window replacement that's going on. While the photo on the left really looks like an abandoned building, it really is just the work that's going on with replacing the windows inside the school. And it's pretty surprising to look at that on the outside, then walk through the inside of the building and look at what's been done and what we're going to see within the whole building when we're finished. The picture on the right shows the construction worker where he's cutting out the old window frame, and there's a temporary support there so you can keep your structure in place. In both of the pictures, what you're still looking at is still the window replacement work that's going on. The picture on the left shows the base of the new window columns that are going in. And you'll notice that there's a fairly large void at the original window sill. And essentially, what we have found out is that void's been pretty problematic within the infrastructure, as you have found that probably more consistently among these windows than not. So to alleviate that problem, what is happening is concrete is being infilled back in to fill that up, and anchors are being put in the concrete in which the new seal is going to be bolted to. So basically, that's going to shore up completely what you have there. The picture on the right is the top of that frame, and you can see those we did not see big problems with. They were able to be welded to the old infrastructure of the building. Both of the red pieces that you see in the picture to the right are old parts of the building. And the big clamp on the bottom of the left is a welding clamp. Likely they were welding the top of the beam when they took the picture. Do you have any questions that I may be able to answer?
I have a question. The
Yes.
geek in the room. So as far as the recent vulnerabilities that have come out, talking about cybersecurity and Log4j, ransomware attacks, anything like that, that offer protection for the Chromebooks, because kids are going to go to those certain websites that possibly the content filter would not be able to block.
Content Keeper should actually block it. What we've done over the last couple of years, as we have seen the school divisions and school divisions around us have issues with, I guess for lack of better words, being hijacked with their system and their information. We actually have contracted out penetration tests over the last couple of years to see where we do have deficiencies and where we don't have deficiencies. Anything regarding student records with PowerSchool and such were deficiencies that we didn't have any control over. Essentially, it was on the PowerSchool end. It was nice to know that once we reported that to PowerSchool, they're very reactive to trying to get the issues fixed. There weren't big things. There was no instance where we found they could even get into PowerSchool. And really what we found from the penetration tests that we had done is it gave us a lot of reassurance in what we were doing and how we were doing it. Now, it did bring about a few minor things. For example, the one that comes to mind immediately is we changed the criteria for how often passwords are changed and the criteria for how you make your password and what was involved in that. So those of you that have problems with your password, that's why. And each time we have to change it. But I can tell you that if we were to undergo any kind of cyber attack, that I think we're as well prepared as anyone around us. And, you know, if something were to get through, I don't think at this point there's anything that we could have knowingly done differently in order to prevent it.
So as far as Power School, each school, do they have a separate tenant, or is it set up to where it's shared resources? So if one school gets a ransomware attack, you know, that's connected to their network, does it do a lateral injection to the other tenants as well?
With Power School specifically, and I hope that I'm not misspeaking when I say this, but Power School is tied to a server. However, there's also a backup Power School server. Power School essentially is web-based for the most part, but backs up on our servers either hourly or every 2 hours. I don't remember which. So if we were to get an attack and something happened and it crashed that main Power School server, we would then revert to the backup that we have that is going, like I said, it's either hourly or every 2 hours in order to restore services. Thank you.
Dr. Ratliff, and thank you, Jonathan. Good questions. I'll have to ask you about. All right. So now we are at the public comment. So, Ms. McKay, do we have any one for public comment?
Yes. We have one, Crystal Hauser. You can come up to Good evening, board. Good evening, Mr. Tillett. Oh. Again. I am here for two reasons tonight. Number one, I'm Crystal Hauser. I'm a lot of things. I wear a lot of hats in our community, but the first thing, I'm a parent. And I know you guys have had to make a lot of hard decisions this year. I know it hasn't exactly been the easiest. And it's easy to say, you know, what's been going wrong, but I want you all to know that there's a lot going right. And to say thank you to not only you all, but our administrators, everybody that's been a part of this decision. It's not been easy. So I just wanted to go on record as saying thank you, because that's really challenging. Also, we've been talking about internet safety tonight. I think it was very apt, actually, that I was going to talk about this, and it just kind of happened to be on the heels of internet safety. We have mentioned a lot of proactive things, right? The BARC since 2019, we're talking about firewalls and understanding those concepts. So what I'm here to talk to you all tonight about is actual safety in our school, physical safety in our school. On the heels of the Michigan shooting and then an unsettling email I got as a mom on Friday, it just is continuously in the back of my mind. I've talked to a lot of members of our community, a lot of parents, and I just felt the need to reach out to you all and maybe reintroduce the idea of enhancing security at the high school. There are several ideas of what that might look like that we can go into later detail, but I know that there are companies, I know there are grants, I know that our own community would reach out to support that funding, because I know it's not a perfect thing. I know it's a very flexible and financial investment into our school system, but I think it's well worth it. And I think it would be a really proactive approach to what's happening and the mental issues, you know, the mental health that we're talking about, the parental responsibility, the access to weapons, all of those things that we can't control necessarily. We can control what the security looks like within our schools in a proactive way. And so, yeah, all I have to say. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hauser. We appreciate your comments, as we appreciate all of our parents. All right, now we are going on to the consent agenda. If Mr. Jordan will read that.
Sure. Tonight's consent agenda consists of approval of financial reports, approval of personnel action, authorization to change appropriation and to accept and expend funds in accordance with the attached request, and finally the approval of minutes for November's regular meeting.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All right. Ms. McKay, if you could please poll the board.
Aye.
Dale,
Aye.
Mr. Freeman,
Aye.
Gordon,
Aye.
Mr. Childress,
Aye.
Chair Sheeler.
All right. We'll move on to other matters for consideration. We have considered the approval of the first reading of the amendment of the Code of Student Conduct for student attendance and absences, and we're making some tweaks to that. Mr. Tillett, would you like to address that?
Sure, be happy to, Madam Chair. We had a work session prior to the meeting tonight to go through our existing policy related to student attendance and truancy. And we had discussions about centering around editing that policy to allow for other activities to be excused, such as educational experiences outside of school, in addition to civic events. We are working through some of the specific language in that policy, but believe that at our next meeting we'll land on an edited policy that will include an opportunity for students to experience other activities that may be educational outside of the school environment. And we anticipate that being brought to the full board at the January meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Tillett. All right. Since we don't have a vote on that, we'll go on to communications and other matters by the school board or the superintendent. Mr. Tillett, do you have anything more to add?
Nothing further except just to, again, thank everybody for the incredible work that has taken place over this last quarter. It's been extremely productive. Comparing this year to last year at this time, I would say it's lights out. We've just done an incredible job as a team, and I just want to thank the folks, not only the administrators in the room, but our staff all around the area that may be listening in. Kudos and thank you for hard work, and I wish you all a very happy holiday.
Thank you, Mr. Tillett. And now Maddie Haddock has a report.
All right, so first with the primary school. There are exciting things happening at PPS these days. We have been able to restart our daily streamed morning show with the help of our library media specialist, Ms. Archer. Second grade students are helping to lead our school in the morning announcements, to include a Pledge of Allegiance, a moment of silence, and a review of our school-wide expectations. As well, each Wednesday, we have a Word of the Week presented by our reading specialist, Ms. Green. Ms. Green presents a new vocabulary and reads a passage from a book that puts the word in context. Students then may use their context clues to find the word. And speaking of reading all the books, our students participated last month in a PTO-sponsored readathon fundraiser. Our students read for and raised $11,325 in donations. Kudos to our kids and a huge thank you to all the family and friends who supported this fundraiser. Our hallways are lined with student work. Turkeys are coming down, and polar bears, reindeer, and gingerbread people are going up. Second graders have created shoebox dioramas that represent the different habitats that have been found studying recently, showing the animals and vegetation to be found there. They're also showing learning about fact families and math. First graders are using the Polar Express book to vocabulary and identify story elements. They're learning about holidays around the world and doing experiments with hot chocolate. Students and staff are wrapping up this week with some holiday spirit dress-up days. We at PPS wish all our families a very happy holiday and a wonderful new year. The elementary school. December has been a busy and exciting month at PES. Students who made the All-A Honor Roll and the AB Honor Roll for first quarter have received certificates. Teachers selected one student from each class to receive the No Bullying Award, recognizes students who follows the 3 R's: respect, responsibility, resourcefulness, and is a student who is kind to others. Students also receive certificates for their progress in Reflex Math, which is an online program where students practice math facts. Reflex Math allows students to practice addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division math facts, and tracks the students' progress. Mastering math facts is essential to be successful as the skills in math become more. ES students were offered the opportunity to make Christmas cards for the firemen. These cards were beautifully decorated with planes, Christmas, celebration and words of appreciation and holiday wishes. PTO just wrapped up a very successful book fair. Our librarian, Misc, works hard to keep popular and current books available for the students. PTO is sponsoring Bag It Books this week and will be at school one morning to let each student select a book of their choice. Thank you to the PES PTO who support the importance of reading in a student's life. Poquoson Elementary School students and staff are working hard at school but are looking forward to the Christmas break. This week, PES staff are celebrating the upcoming holiday with the Spirit Week. Students and staff are wearing clothing such as green attire to highlight the Grinch, Christmas sweaters, Christmas socks, dressing like a candy cane in red and white, and then on Friday wearing the favorite Santa hat. We wait until the last day to wear Santa's hat because on Friday there will be a lot of excitement and it will be hard to think of nothing else but the 2-week break that is ahead. Happy holidays from PES. Poquoson Middle School is excited to share the rebranding of the Golden Bull Award. In an effort to recognize more students each year, PMS now has a Golden Bull Student of the Month award. Throughout the month, students earn golden tickets from staff members for exhibiting the following traits from our character building program, All In: being respectful, acting responsibly, building resilience. Each month, one student per grade level is named the Golden Bull Student of the Month based on tickets earned. Congratulations to the following students have been named Golden Bull Students of the Month so far for the 2021-2022 school year. Caden Hurd, Savannah Gordon, Tyler Sebring, Dean Jock, Palin Jackson, and Dylan Olberg. PMS would like to thank families for all their support. We wish everyone a very happy holiday and a relaxing, healthy winter break. Poquoson High School has had another great month packed full of students working inside and outside of the classroom. Multiple clubs participated in the Poquoson Christmas Parade last week, and our Excel Club helped the Poquoson Exchange Club with their Christmas tree sale. Our STA has been working hard decorating the halls of PHS for the holidays and also raising funds for Poquoson Paws Sanctuary and the Newport News Animal Shelter. Our school looks amazingly festive. DECA has begun their district-level competition. We are administrating some of the annual CTE industry certifications this week. Our senior class conducted a drive this past month to help out at Thanksgiving and need. Last but not least, we want to thank the Poquoson Education Foundation for the grants given to our teachers. Teachers have started using these funds to purchase materials. Thank you, PEF, for all you do. Our winter sports are now in full swing with games activities occurring almost nightly. Please check our weekly newsletter to keep up with all things Poquoson High. PHS wants to wish everyone a wonderful and safe holiday season. Happy New Year.
Thanks so much, Maddie. Mr. Ingram?
Yeah, thank you. Want to congratulate Logan on being Student of the Month at the high school. And Ms. Hauser, thank you for out and speaking tonight. And just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and safe travels for when you go visit.
I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. I just want everybody to have a safe, healthy, happy holidays and spend time with your loved ones. And
Freeman?
I'd like to congratulate our field hockey team for once again, outstanding presentation of the school. Congratulations to Logan. I've known Logan for several years, and to see her recognize it is just great. Also, I want to talk about a couple of our students who participate in non-VHL sports. I don't know how many people know this or not, but USA Shooting recently held their winter championships, and 3 of our students participated. Brandon Evans, Matthew Stout, and Holly Freeman. And they all represented well. They were in the top 10 for their age group. But particularly Brandon Evans. He really stood out this match. He was first overall in age group, and then he was third in the whole category. And that's very impressive, but I'm talking the entire country, not just a local or state. I mean, the entire United States of America. So if you see Brandon walking around the halls of school, give him a congratulations. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Thank you. Mr. Jordan?
I know it's been an exciting time in a lot of our schools with Spirit Week. Having a young child, those poor bus drivers and teachers this week, I think they're all greatly looking forward to their couple-week vacation. It's certainly going to be well-deserved. So best of luck to our winter athletes, the tremendous amount of time that our coaches put forth for the betterment of our athletic programs. And one of the things that we're looking at a board too is looking at our coaches' pay and their salaries, because in my opinion, that's something that we really need to take a good hard look at for the next school year, because a coach can make a drastic impact on a kid's life. So that's something that we're going to look at come next year. Thanks, Green, for speaking tonight. You know, having 2 kids in the school system, you know, and York County dealt with it, Poquoson, we dealt with it this past week as well. So, you know, something as a parent that you send your kids to school for that safe environment. So we have a number of preventative measures already in place, and as a board we look at those, but we can never let our guard down, and I know we'll continue to make sure that we're positioned right, and you know, the opportunity to look at some additional grant funding and things of that nature. So as a board member, Ms. Green, we'll certainly continue that fight and make sure that our schools are safe. Thanks, and happy holidays.
Mr. Childress.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Poquoson High School Chorus for coming out and giving that amazing singing. They were absolutely amazing singing for us. I'd like to congratulate the varsity field hockey. Great accomplishment. Second place in state champs. Showed the dedication and hard work. So congratulations to them. And I'd like to wish everybody happy holidays.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome Dusty McKay for her and thank you for your seamless support of our board. And you right in. Special thanks to the Poquoson Educational Foundation for their generous support of our staff and students, including the teacher making grants. Very important to us. Congratulations to Maddie Haddock on being on the varsity field hockey team. More than a decade of work goes into that kind of skill set, and we really appreciate it. Happy to cheer you on. Also, congratulations to the Student of the Month, Logan Pickford, with over a decade of work to get to that black belt in Hapkido. I have a red belt, which is a minor thing, but I can tell you that black belt is a big deal. I want to also wish everyone happy holidays. Thank you.
I'm pretty impressed, Miss Sheeler. I wasn't aware that you had a red belt.
I didn't know that either.
It's good to be this way a little bit shocking. I know
All
not
right.
to fall on your bad side, that's for sure.
Mr. Tillett, do we have any material for board review?
Nothing further, Madam Chair.
All right. We are going to adjourn for a closed session. We will meet in closed session pursuant to the scholastic exemption of Section 2.2-37111 and 2 of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act for the consideration of personnel matters and student discipline matters. So we are adjourned.